It looks like YouTube is getting going, so let's go ahead and start Facebook. Looks like Facebook is up and running, YouTube is up and running, so let's get started on tonight's video. I will do my quick intro here. If you don't know me, my name is Ginger. I am also known as the Pain Warrior Princess, who is going to check and make sure that Facebook is actually working. Okay, yes, there we go. Okay, so this is Ginger. I am also known as the Pain Warrior Princess, and I am doing regular COVID-19 live update videos to kind of make everybody aware of new things that have come out. And a lot of news has come out the past few days, but today what we're going to focus on is the face mask debate, because a lot of people don't know if they should be wearing one or not, if they know they're not infected, but we'll be talking about that. And also, we'll be talking just a little bit about some of the topics that have come up in the press briefings. The truth is that so much has happened that I can't, if I were to go over all of it in one video, it would be like 3-4 hours long, and I don't expect anyone to sit through that much of a video. So we're not going to do that, but I will have in the next few days videos coming up with all of that new information. So let me just give another minute here for folks who want to join. I know I was a minute or two late. I hope nobody kind of ran off while I didn't make it here a minute or two before 7. And I apologize, I'm getting a lot of notifications today, so if you see them or hear them, that's why. YouTube is on this camera, Facebook is on this camera, so if I'm not looking right at you, that's why. All right, let me just grab my notes up here and get everything situated. Excuse me. By the way, if you have been following since the beginning of these live videos a week or two ago, whenever I started them, I finished my sinus infection antibiotics this morning. I was so happy. And I do feel a lot better. I still have some residual effects from the sinus infection and from the antibiotics. I was on antibiotics for 10 days. I didn't choose the 5 days of a Z-Pack because I knew that was needed elsewhere for more important things. And there was another antibiotic that would work for me, so I just chose to take that one. But like I said, I'm still recovering. Plus, I'm in the middle of a fibro flare. If you don't know, I have fibromyalgia, among a bunch of other things. But anyway, we're going to get through this. So basically, in the next few days, the videos that I will be doing about the news from the press conferences in New York State include details about the PPP loan, just kind of a quick tease. I did find out that independent contractors and sole proprietors are included in that. So if for whomever you work, you get a 1099 at the end of the year, then you are also eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program loans. I'm going to dig into all of that. The applications for the loans just started today, and last time I checked, there were like 5,000 loans processed and like over $2 billion loaned already. And I'll explain how that process works. Just in general terms though, just so you understand, you would have to go to a local provider of this loan. Does not mean every bank in your city has it, okay? Right now, last time I checked, Bank of America was the only big bank to have it. It's a lot of community banks. But anyway, you would fill out your application, work with that local bank that's participating to make sure everything is, paperwork is done, documentation is done, all of that. The money would be given to you from that local bank, and the federal government is going to be guaranteeing this loan for the local bank that helps you. So that's how that generally works. It's not only if you own a business, it's not only for protection of your payroll. And by the way, we have a marketing client in our marketing company that provides payroll and paycheck services and time management services for employees to different companies. And they gave us some advice about this. Basically, if your company has less than 500 employees, we recommend that you, or they recommend that you apply for this PPP loan. I happen to agree based on what I know about it. So yeah, it can be used for overhead, rent. It can be used to bring back those employees that you let go thinking that this COVID-19 thing was going to wreck your business and you wouldn't be able to pay them. Not that it's not having an impact, but this PPP loan allows you to keep the doors open and the lights on so you can bring those employees back in and pay them. And then the federal government is turning part of this into a grant that doesn't need to be paid back. But in any case, if any of it needs to be paid back, it's a 10-year loan. So it's incredible. It's amazing. I'm going to dig into it more, but the fact that independent contractors are protected under this, I know a lot of my folks on Facebook working in the cannabis industry and doing like ancillary services. I know this information will be very helpful to you. So in the next few days, we're going to talk about the PPP loan. We're going to talk about the fact that if you are uninsured, you don't need to worry about the cost of a COVID-19 test or your treatment for it if you unfortunately test positive. I will tell you more about that. There was a lot of news yesterday about that in the briefing, a lot of news today about that in the briefing. Things that I have never heard any country do at all, not even ones that have socialized medicine or nationalized medicine. I've never heard of this. So in any case, we'll get to that later. Like I said in the beginning, lots of news going on the past few days. I'm still working on getting some statistics kind of in a more digestible form for everybody, because there are just all these numbers being thrown. 1 million plus are testing positive, and this many people have died, this many in the US, this percentage in this state. It's a lot. So instead of just throwing numbers like I did in the very beginning when I did this, I'm going to kind of make them mean a little bit more. All right. So the thing about the masks, okay, and by the way, my good friend here, you guys can't see him that well, but you know him from the picture I posted. My good friend here has a bandana and a scarf. He's extra protected. We're going to talk about pros and cons of wearing a mask when you know you have tested negative for COVID-19, when you know you have tested positive for COVID-19, when you don't know if you're positive or negative and you haven't had a test, when you might be positive and a carrier and be asymptomatic. There is a lot going on with this virus, guys, a whole lot. So let me just put it to you this way, okay? And this will protect me as a person with chronic conditions and decreased immunity. By the way, even though my sinus infection is gone and my body is not fighting that infection anymore, I am still at even more decreased immunity than I regularly am every day, because antibiotics kill the good bacteria in your gut, and that's where a lot of your immune system lives. So this is still very, very important for everybody in the country, okay? My advice is this: act as if you can infect somebody else. That's my advice. So just like when you're driving a car, you're a defensive driver because you don't know, is the guy coming at you, is he drunk? Is around the corner there going to be a wrong way driver coming at you? You don't know these things. So the best thing that we can do when we're driving, be a defensive driver. During this situation with a COVID-19 pandemic, be a defensive person. In other words, protect yourself. I'm not saying like go around with your fists out ready to knock somebody out if they come within 6 feet of you. Though maybe I would. I don't know. Depends. In any case, be defensive on this too. Pretend as if you know you could infect anybody. That's how we need to act. So here's the thing about the face mask. One of the things that I was worried about. People were already hoarding supplies like 3 weeks ago, before we really knew much about this at all, about this virus at all. We just knew that it was potentially coming across the United States for all of us, basically. So I don't want anybody to run out and buy N95 masks, okay? That's the respirator, also called a mask, that everyone is talking about. You do not need one of those if you are not COVID-19 positive, okay? If you are COVID-19 positive, what you will want to do is talk to your healthcare providers and say, where do I get the N95 mask to protect the people around me, okay? Do not go out and buy boxes and boxes of N95 masks, because today the CDC made an advisory or a recommendation that it is voluntary for the next period of time, they didn't say specifically, to wear a mask. Please do not do that. Healthcare providers need those masks. There are hundreds, I'm sure, of perfectly good things around your house you can use, especially if you're a woman, certainly if you're a man too. because you might have a sister or a mother, or go buy something you can use if you have to during an essential item trip. Okay, I have a whole basket here. I raided my closet, and honestly, it wasn't that hard. I just started pulling stuff off the shelves and out of the drawers. Let me tell you this up front. If you are a motorcycle rider, especially in colder climates, you already have what you need. You already have what you need. I can almost guarantee it. Why can I say that? How can I say that? Because me and my better half kind of got most of my family into riding motorcycles, and I have gone on trips with them, and very shortly after they started riding a motorcycle, they got all these things to have. So I will show you some of them. But right now, let's get back to the pros and the cons and all of that. Like I said, act as if you could infect somebody when you go out, okay? And even if you decide to wear a cloth face mask when you go out of your house, that does not mean that you can get within the number of feet that we are supposed to stay away from other people. Mask does not get rid of social distancing. Mask does not get rid of wash your hands, of be careful, of sanitize your shopping cart, of only going out for essentials. Masks do not get rid of any of these. And this is something that I want everybody to understand. That's one of the things I was worried about too, if they came out and talked about masks, especially early on, because they were trying to get people to do social distancing. And then if they came out and said, well, you can wear a mask in public, then people would think, well, then I'll just go to the bar in a mask. I can do that. And I did not want that to happen. Now, people have said to me, why didn't they recommend earlier on about wearing masks for people like they did, like they made the recommendation today? Time out. If you guys see this, you see the redness, I'm okay. This is part of my condition. My nervous system does not react right to any kind of stimulus. I am perfectly fine. It's just red. So I'm okay. If you saw that, I don't want anyone to think I'm about to stroke out or have a conniption or anything like that. As far as I know, that's not going to happen. If I fall out, like somebody message somebody on here and send me some help. But I think I'm okay. All right, anyway. So, the masks are important, but there are some things, even with the cloth masks that you may choose to wear at home, that you still need to do. Otherwise, you could infect yourself when you are meaning to protect yourself. We're going to go over that too. So, the CDC did come out with this recommendation today. I kind of had a feeling for about the past week that they were moving that way, just based on what I know about how, from marketing and PR, how to present information to people, that they become used to it, that they accept it when you kind of drop the bomb. Drop the bomb, of course, is a phrase. It's a figure of speech, right? We're not dropping any bombs. But they started saying a couple days ago, we're talking about it, we're thinking about it, we're considering. To me, they were moving toward. Probably to you guys as well. I'm not saying I'm like Albert Einstein because I figured it out, but so pros and cons. Obviously, like I said before, if you test positive for COVID-19, you got to protect the people around you. Ask your health now, and I'll talk about this serology test in a minute that's going to roll out, they said within about a week. If you are getting tested now, it's because you have symptoms of COVID-19. You meet certain criteria. So it's very important, if you meet that criteria while you are waiting for your test results, and even before you go in to get your test done, that you protect people around you. So if you're waiting for your test results to come back, again, you need to act as if you could infect people. This is what we do, right? We're defensive drivers on the road. We are defensive now, so we do not hurt other people around us. Just think, I could spread it right now. I could sneeze and it could be in there, and that would be it. It would go around the people around me. Okay? So, as far as me wearing a mask, I know some people have asked that. Now, by the way, if you're interested, President Trump said he's probably not going to. He said, I don't think I'm going to do it. Why? It's voluntary. And if you've worn masks like this, they're not comfortable. You get humid and gross, and it's not a fun thing to do. But that was his decision. Of course, a reporter brought up, well, shouldn't you set an example? Look, no. And the reason I say that is because if the President of the United States came out to give his briefings every day in a press room like this, what message does that look like when people see it? People who are judging this now, you got to think from a different perspective. You have to think from, people are watching, a nation and a world full of scared people are watching. What message is this man sending? It can't just always be about setting an example and this and that. Sometimes he has to do things that he doesn't like so everybody in the country doesn't get scared shitless. Now, me, am I going to wear one? The answer is yes, but it is qualified, and here's what it is. Remember, I have not been out of my house. Last time I told you it was a little over 5 weeks. At this point, it's probably almost 6 weeks, if not just over. I've been out 5 times, 3 times to the pharmacy, twice to get groceries. That's it. And in the past week plus, I haven't been out at all. The last time I went out was 10 days ago to Walgreens to get my sinus infection antibiotic. Now, because where I am, the tests are still less than 10% positive. It might be closer to 7 or 8. Arizona, somewhere between 7 and 10% being positive tests of people that are tested. New York is more like 35%. So 1 in 3 people in New York State that is being tested for COVID-19 has it. If I lived in New York State, guys, and I used to, if I lived in New York State, I would be wearing a cloth mask whenever I left my house. That's not a scare tactic from me. That's not fear-mongering. That is the data. 1 in 3 people who are being tested are testing positive. So if you're in an area of a hot spot, absolutely, I would wear a mask when you go out, but you have to stay tuned because I'm going to tell you how to do it safely so you don't inadvertently infect yourself. Okay? That's extremely important. Where I am, again, between 7 and 10% are testing positive. If I were a regular person who has not been self-isolating for 6 weeks, did not have chronic conditions, did not have decreased immunity and everything else that I have, because 1 in 10 people who are being tested, let's say 1 in 10 people in Arizona, it's about that. Like I said, right? 7 to 10% are testing positive of those being tested. That's another important thing to remember, of those being tested, because some people are asymptomatic. They're not going to test because they don't think they need it, right? They're asymptomatic, so they could still be a carrier. That's why I'm saying of people tested, right? So let's just say in Arizona, 1 in 10 people who are being tested have it, because the numbers are about that. I would take a cloth mask with me and be ready to wear it if I get to a place where there are a lot of people. Yes, people are social distancing, but if you go into, like, let's say a grocery store and it's a busy time for the store, even though we're social distancing, it could still be busy, right? Grocery stores are normally busy, like weekends, in the morning and early afternoon, right? I wouldn't go there, but if you have no choice, take the cloth mask with you, be ready to put it on, because you don't know what you're going to walk into or what you're going to see until you get to the parking lot, right? So have it with you and ready to go. I would highly recommend that you store it in a zipped plastic bag. I will tell you about this mask in just a minute. It's not an N95 one. I don't have any. I'm not panicked. Put your cloth mask in a zip bag, okay, and keep it with you. Zip bags are disposable. This is something where if you are out and you take out your cloth mask and you put it on, throw this. Wait a minute. Take 2 bags. Take 2 bags. I'm so sorry. I should have thought about that more before I said it. Take 2 bags. Your cloth mask will be in this bag zipped. When you take out your cloth mask to put it on, and remember, don't leave yet, because I'm going to tell you how to do it safely so you don't inadvertently infect yourself. My God, I should get that put on my forehead because I keep saying it. So you're going to take 2 bags. When you take your cloth bag out of the initial zip bag that you had it with you in, throw this out. What you're going to do, when you are done with the cloth mask, take it off, put it in the extra zip bag, seal it, okay? Then when you get home, you will clean, disinfect, all of that stuff with that cloth reusable mask. But remember, 2 bags. 1, your cloth mask goes in, zipped, in your purse, in your pocket, whatever. And then you toss the zip bag out after you take your cloth mask out. Then you have your empty zip bag with you. Get your cloth mask off when you're done. Put it in that empty zip bag, zip it, and then go home and clean it, which we'll get to in a minute. That's what I would recommend if you're in a state and you don't have chronic conditions, decreased immunity, etc., where the testing rate is 7 to 10 approximately people getting tested are ending up positive. There are some states that are 14, 15, 16, 17%. My advice there would probably be the same, though I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit higher there. It's a little bit scarier to me there. That's almost 1 in 5, closer to maybe 1 in 7. So that's something that you need to decide for yourself. Again, remember, I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm someone who's been in the medical system for over 25 years with chronic conditions. I'm a researcher by nature and by trade. So I'm just giving you my advice. So if you are somebody like me and you are in New York State, my advice is the same. 1 in 3 people, and it's actually a little over that, right? Because 1 in 3 would be about 33 1/3% testing positive. New York, last time I checked, was at 35% of people being tested are coming up positive. Now, let's just break for a minute. That does mean that 65% of those being tested are coming up negative. That's important to remember. But for this discussion right here about should you wear a face mask, over 1 in 3 people are testing positive in New York State. If you're like me, have chronic conditions, decreased immunity, I would not go out unless you absolutely had no choice. I know there are some issues with essential items, especially on Walmart. I was made aware of this, that essential items have been taken off of the online shopping options. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's a supply issue. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping that they get that fixed soon. But there are going to be ways to work around these things. Most of these issues that come up are only issues for a couple days while certain things get straightened out in the background. So if you're in New York State, you're one of the people who told me about that Walmart issue, I would say keep trying 2 or 3 times a day, okay? There are other stores that deliver. Just do your best right now to stay safe. And then, like I said, in a couple days, these things will be solved. Arizona, where we're testing, like I said, between 7 to 10% of people tested are coming up positive. Again, that means 90 to 93% are coming up negative. That's very important to remember. But for this conversation, someone in Arizona with chronic conditions, decreased immunity, I would also recommend that when you go out, you wear a cloth mask. That's my recommendation. Again, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Please do not run out and get N95 masks for this purpose. The people who need them right now are the people on the front lines who will be treating you and your family if, God forbid, someone tests positive. There are plenty of items around your house that are perfect to make into a mask. Let me think if there are any other pros and cons. One of the cons I did talk about was they're uncomfortable. Another con about it is something I'm going to go over, but I didn't explicitly say, right? They need to be properly disinfected, properly applied with clean hands. And when you are done with them, they need to be stored until they can be cleaned and disinfected in such a way that will not infect you or anybody around you inadvertently. You know, there's a lot of responsibility to yourself that comes with wearing a cloth mask or wearing a mask if you don't need one because you've tested positive or you had symptoms and you're waiting for test results, okay? Remember, anybody can be asymptomatic. So like I said, I've said it like 8 times. I'm going to say it again. Act as if you could infect anybody, right? Act as if you could infect anybody. Defensive driving, defensive with this too, okay? Another con. I think those are the big main, well, no, there is one more, 2 more. One of the cons I kind of mentioned earlier is that it might give people a false sense of security, and now we don't have to stay 6 feet from each other. That is not what this means. Social distancing is the number 1 mitigator that we've put into practice. Face masks are not high on the mitigation list. Face masks are there, but the social distancing and the washing the hands and the disinfecting is most important. Let's see, another con. I think it might give people a false sense of security, because if you don't do it right and you just wear a bandana Whoops. Let me see my eyes. My eyes are still uncovered, right? My eyes are still uncovered. So I'm going to show you how to fix that issue, but it might give someone a false sense of security. I don't want anybody to think, oh, I'm going to wear this and then I won't get COVID-19. There's a good chance that you won't if you wear it, and you wash your hands, you disinfect, you don't touch your eyes and mouth, you don't eyes, nose, and mouth, you don't shake hands, all of that stuff. This is not the only thing that will prevent you from getting COVID-19. This, in conjunction with everything else they're telling us, gives you a better chance of not getting COVID-19. So the false sense of security is kind of concerning to me. Let's see. So let's talk now about how to properly use these cloth masks, okay? Again, you don't need an N95 mask. You don't need a special mask, but we found some in the garage that were probably bought from Home Depot or Harbor Freight or one of those when we had a painting project some time ago, so I'm going to show it to you. No, it's not an N95 mask. And by the way, what they're talking about wearing these masks for is droplets that can come out when people speak, when they sneeze, when they cough. I want to address something else real quick. Somebody, there was this report published, I don't even remember who did it, but some kind of study that the drops go 27 feet and pretty much scaring the shit out of everybody. Dr. Fauci addressed this, and he did a wonderful demonstration for it. I will not be as good as he does, but if somebody rears back like an asshole and they sneeze, meaning to project things, or they spit, meaning to project things, that can probably go 27 feet. But a regular sneeze is not going to go 27 feet. I'm sorry. Unless you're King Kong and everything on you is huger, then I don't think you're going to sneeze 27 freaking feet. So the 6 feet is still good. There are the droplets that come out when people sneeze. Most of the time when people sneeze or cough or talk, and we've all had somebody talk to us and this big ass piece of spit comes out. We've all had that happen. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about normal stuff. The drops are very, very small. So I would not, I'm going to show you this in a second, but let me show you a not first, because I want to make that absolutely clear, because you guys might be listening to this while you're digging through your closet trying to find something appropriate. So this is a scarf that I crocheted. I would not recommend this because, obviously, right? Because of the holes in it. So I would not recommend this by itself. Even if I were to fold it over and overlap it, I still don't like it for this purpose. One way that I test for this is, and I don't know if you have ever done this to see if like a new jacket is good in the wind or in the rain. What I do is hold it up and then blow air through it with my hand on the other side, and I'll show you that in a minute, because I want to see what is the airflow like through this. Okay, so yeah, my entire hand is warm from me breathing through it. So this I would not recommend, and I'll do the breathing test with the other ones too. So I would not recommend a crocheted scarf or a knitted scarf like this. Are they beautiful? Yes, but they are not good for this particular purpose. Oh, sorry guys. Excuse me. How dare you? Look at this guy staring at me like, don't you have anything better to do? This is my grandma's frog. I gave it to her a long time ago. She passed away in 2001, 2003. And I've had it ever since she passed away. So he's my buddy. All right. So this is a mask that, again, probably for a painting project we got. It's very easy to use. Not over the eyes. Goes like this. So yes, air does pass through, thank God, because I'm trying to breathe, and look. That's why these masks are not fun to wear. So everybody who's like, I'm going to wear a mask now, I think after about 45 seconds of trying to breathe in one, you might rethink it. But if it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. Just don't put on a mask. And I am going to show you again the proper way to do it. I just wanted to show you an example of a mask that you could use that's not an N95. Obviously, don't put on your mask and do this dig under, pick your nose, fix your lipstick. Don't do that. That defeats the purpose totally and completely. But now I've showed you what I don't think makes a good mask. I've showed you kind of an option that has the little ear loops, and it's very similar to an N95 mask in the way that it is used. This is not an antiviral mask, okay? Don't make that mistake. We're not using cloth masks to be antiviral. We are using them to prevent droplets that may be around us from when people talk, sneeze, cough, from getting into our nose and mouth, okay? Now, the proper way to use a cloth mask. Number one, you must have clean hands when you put it on. You can't be like out at the grocery store, like in the parking lot, not have sanitized or washed your hands, reached in, grabbed your mask to put it on. You need to do it with clean hands. You need to put it on with clean hands. You need to take it off with clean hands, and then clean your hands again. Okay? So clean hands are extremely important. Yes, these masks can be reusable, but you need to properly clean, sanitize, disinfect them. What does that mean? What it means to me is, again, when I get to the store, right, we talked about having the mask before you leave your house, and I'm trying to set up a visual aid that I didn't have set up before. So when you leave your house, right, you're going to have your clean mask in here, which you have already washed your hands and everything before you touched it to put it in here. You're going to take this with you to the store, take it out, throw this bag out. And the reason I say throw this bag out is because the outside will have been exposed to some kind of elements outside your house, outside the environment that you can control. So that's why I recommend tossing this. Okay, so you get to the store you need to go into, take your mask out, throw that out. You have the other empty bag with you, right? So your hands are clean. Take your mask out. Wait, clean your hands. Take your mask out. Put your mask on. Remember, don't dig up and under your mask. Don't do that. And then when you leave the store, what you need to do with your mask on, clean your hands again, take off your mask. Now watch carefully, okay? Fold it so the part that was outside is now folded to the inside. Take your empty zip bag, put it in here, zip it, clean your hands again. This is what you will take home and clean, disinfect, sanitize. Okay, so what are some ways you can clean, disinfect, and sanitize? Obviously, put it through the laundry. Now, this is not like the virus is going to jump off and get into all of your clothing, especially in a zip bag, right? So if you have several of these cloth masks, like some people who raided their closet and found a bunch, you can leave this in here and then put it like next to your regular laundry basket, because obviously when you go to wash this, you're going to need it out of the bag. So you can put this next to your regular laundry. Maybe by the end of the week, depending on how much you had to go out that week, you might have a couple. That's okay. So this sits and goes in the laundry. Do you need to use bleach? I personally don't think so, and here's why. It won't hurt if you do, unless you care if this, I don't care if this stays pink. I'm trying not to get COVID-19. I don't give a damn if my bandana gets faded. But from what I know and understand, if you use warm water and you use laundry soap, the washer will agitate all of that stuff together. So remember with our hands, right? Water, soap, agitate and lather for 20 seconds or more. I do 30 to 40. And then rinse. You're doing the same thing in the laundry with this. You add soap, you add your warm water, the washer runs in the middle thing, I forget what it's called. We'll spin this and agitate this and clean it. Then it goes in the dryer on a higher heat. Now remember, we don't know yet if heat alone kills this virus. We're just getting into the summer season in some places, and they don't know yet. So don't just throw this in the dryer and think it's going to get clean and sanitized. Don't do that. Run it through the laundry. Now, what if you're not doing laundry soon and you only have one of these? What you can do is spray it down with isopropyl alcohol. Now, we're going to talk this weekend about diluting isopropyl alcohol correctly. Here's why I need to get into that now. Because we've all been doing this for 2 weeks. We were just told now we need to do it for a month more. Probably some of our supplies are running out. Perhaps you bought 91% isopropyl alcohol 2 weeks ago, but you're running out. There's a way to dilute it so it is at least the 70% isopropyl alcohol that we need to kill this virus. Now, people will say, well, isn't it stronger if it's 91%? Yes, it's stronger, but if we make that alcohol 70%, we dilute it with water to make it 70%. The water in there makes it so the alcohol evaporates slower. What does that mean? It means the alcohol is in contact with the surface we are trying to clean and disinfect for a longer time. That's why having some water in with that isopropyl alcohol, as long as it's 70% alcohol in the solution, works better. Same thing for hand sanitizer, right? There's other things in the hand sanitizer that helps that alcohol stay on your skin longer and help condition your skin and work better. So, all right. So we've talked about how to store this when you're going out to the store. We've talked about keeping your hands clean before you put it on, before you put it in your bag to go out, before you put it on, before you take it off. After you take it off, you have to clean your hands again. Again, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with wearing one of these cloth masks, so it's a big thing to kind of think about. It seems like it's an easy decision to just go, yeah, I'm gonna wear one. It seems like the safe thing to do. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just tossing a bandana around your neck like you're gonna rob a bank like you're Jesse James and then taking it off. That's not it. There's a lot that goes into it so you don't inadvertently infect yourself or somebody else. So you can clean it through the laundry. You can clean it through the isopropyl alcohol. Truth be told, if you're not doing a laundry load soon, you could certainly clean this, like hand wash it in your sink. Hot water, not hot to burn you, but between warm and hot, right? Soap. Agitate this in that soap mixture for at least 20 seconds. Rinse it well. Hang it up to dry. Spray it with isopropyl alcohol solution after it's dry. Now, why did I add the isopropyl alcohol when I didn't add that when I had to do it in a regular laundry load? Because when it's hand washed and then hung up to dry, it's not exposed to the heat that could possibly help in sterilizing it. I'm not saying that's all. Remember, I just said it's not just heat that we need, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. So when you've hand washed this, hang it up, spray it with your isopropyl alcohol dilution, which I'm going to teach you guys how to make this weekend. And that's that. Let me just think for 10 seconds and make sure that I didn't miss anything about that whole procedure, because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So give me 1 second to kind of play it back in my head. I'm mixing my coffee. That's how I mix it, because sometimes with the ice, it melts into water, and then I have water on the top of my iced coffee, and then when I get to the bottom, it tastes like watery coffee, and I don't like that, so this is how I mix it. All right, guys. I think I hit on all of it. Just remember, wearing a mask like this does not offer you all the protection you need. If you're going to wear the mask, you need to be absolutely diligent, OCD, aggressively making sure that your hands are clean before you touch the mask to take it out with you. In fact, you can even wear the mask from right before you leave your front door until you get home. But trust me, I've worn these when I've ridden a motorcycle, and they are uncomfortable. It's humid in this whole area. You can break out, you sweat. It's not comfortable. And then there's the whole, you're not getting as much oxygen because your nose is covered. So there's a lot to think about with this, but takeaways are a lot of responsibility, a lot to think about. Make sure your hands are clean before you put the mask on, after you take the mask off. Do not take N95 masks away from our healthcare providers. There are plenty of things around your house you can use that we're going to go through right now. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I might do a separate video with just like the procedure that I talked about. But I wanted to get this information out to you guys because I knew today they were going to make their recommendation. If it wasn't going to be today, it was going to be tomorrow, but I had a feeling it would be today. So we've talked about bandanas, right? I have many bandanas. They're good for tying our hair back, right, ladies and some guys. They're good for like fashion statement. They're good on motorcycle. They're good to like throw your stuff in with a stick through and be a hobo, whatever, if you want to do that for Halloween. So the way that you do it with a bandana, I'm sure you've done this before, guys. You just fold it into the triangle, put it around, and tie it in the back. Now, remember I told you I would give you kind of a fix for the fact that your eyes are still sticking out. These are not going to match. I'm so sorry, but we're going to go through this. And by the way, I hate wearing these handkerchiefs, so I'm going to get it on and off as soon as I can because I feel like I can't breathe in them. So how do we fix the problem of your eyes being uncovered? Glasses, but they have to be a certain kind. We'll talk about that after I get this beast on my face. Okay, here we go. I'll fix it on my eyes in a minute. I just have to get it tied. I feel like I should be in the movie The Town and I'm going out to rob a bank. Anybody see that movie? That Ben Affleck movie? I really liked it. All right. Now, we're just going to pretend that I washed my hands and everything like I've been telling you guys to do the whole time. Okay, we're just going to pretend that. Okay. Okay, so we've got our mask on. Now, our eyes are sticking out. Now, not only are our eyes not sticking out, but with these glasses, there is very little space for anything to get in. Now, I'm not stupid. I know a drop is teeny, 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 tiny. But the point is, these wrap around very tightly. So, these are not just regular glasses like these that just sit on the front of the eyes, right? Look at all that, where it can get. So, these are the kind of sunglasses I recommend. Now, yes, this looks ridiculous going into the store. I'm aware of that. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because that shit can get in my eyes and I'm not trying to get sick. So, obviously, if you're in the store walking around and somebody says to you, can you please take off your glasses? You can go, I'm fine, not robbing your store, trying not to get COVID-19. Psh. Obviously, your mask would still be up, but you know what I mean. Slide the glasses off, put them back down, go about your business. If they don't like it, guess what? There are other places you can spend your money. We're trying not to get a virus going around this country like wildfire right now. And if a store doesn't like me wearing sunglasses and a bandana in their store, guess what? Somebody else going to take my money. So that's how you use the bandana. This is how you make it so your eyes are protected. Now, some of you may recognize these were like the Ed Hardy style from like 10 years ago. I throw nothing out if it still has a useful life. And this is why, because things come up 10 years later and they become useful again. But I highly recommend these kind of glasses that kind of curve on the sides to protect your eyes a little bit more than just these kind, for example. They were in style in the 80s. They came back in style like a couple years ago. These are better than nothing, don't get me wrong. These with your mask on and tucked up under are better than nothing. But now, why did I tuck the mask up and under? Well, the reason is this. Let me show you. First of all, if you do it this way, you are stuck with your glasses on. You cannot get them off without taking your mask off or down to move these, right? They're stuck on. The other problem is, in the short 4 seconds I've been talking, these are all fogged up on the inside. That does no good. You can't see what you're doing. And then what happens? You futz with your eyes and you take them off anyway. So, that's why. Number 3, the sunglasses help to hold the mask up in place because these don't have elastic, right? They don't have elastic, so it's easy for them to fall. So if you're going to do what I'm recommending, the mask goes on first, then the sunglasses, okay? That is how that is done. So, if you have questions, let me know, guys. I'm going to wrap this up in about 15 minutes. You can always send me questions about anything COVID-19 related, chronic illness related. There is not a question that I will turn away. If somebody's a douche weasel about it, I'll let them know. But if you are a nice person, you're respectful, and you ask a question that you genuinely want an answer to, and I'm saying this because it has happened. Someone has been a smartass about some things, and had to be laid out virtually and verbally because they weren't taking this whole thing seriously. Gotta do what you gotta do. But anyway, if you have questions, let me know. Handkerchiefs, we talked about them. This one I actually got in college, and I've been out of college a long, many years. But this one I like, and I wanted to show you because it is bigger than normal handkerchiefs that you will find, right? This is a big beast. Now, somebody might think, well, isn't a bigger one better? Not necessarily, and I will tell you why in a second, but I want to kind of show you the size difference here. Not with that one. I picked the wrong handkerchief. Doesn't matter. Bigger ones are not always better, and let me show you why, okay? This can stick out in a bigger handkerchief. This can stick out. So I don't really recommend these. If all you have is a bigger one, this is how you handle that problem, okay? That's how you handle that problem. Now, don't forget, you still want your glasses, right? After you put this mask on to protect your eyes. But if it's a big handkerchief, you can always tuck it in to your neck, okay? To your neckline, not into your neck. Yeah, you don't need to split your neck open for this thing, guys. It's not that hard. All right, handkerchiefs. I have a plethora of handkerchiefs. My little buddy here does. He's also demonstrating the next type of cloth face covering you can use. This is a wool scarf. His scarf is tied to the back of what he's sitting on here because he kept falling over. But if you could see the back, you would see it has fringe like a regular scarf. Now, it's a wool scarf. Why is that important? Because it gets very hot and scratchy very quickly. Hot air against a wool scarf makes you sweat even more and get very scratchy very quickly, even more chance of you reaching in and messing with it. Why is a wool scarf good? Because it's very thick. If I blow the air through it, pardon me here, Buster. I hardly felt any air come through. Remember what I did before, that little air, like weatherproof test. Is something waterproof or you know, windproof? Obviously, I was testing for windproof, not water, but so they're very good for that purpose. But again, they get very scratchy very quickly. If you've ever worn a wool scarf on your neck and you kind of get stuck in an elevator, or you go in a building and the heat's on and you can't get it off right away, how your neck felt, that's how your face is going to feel. Men shave, a lot of men. Women wear makeup and use those makeup wipes that irritate the skin. So let me tell you, this kind of scarf, while it's good because it's thick and a lot of wind does not go through it, you will get skin irritation here. I can almost guarantee it. If you're a man who shaves or a woman who uses, who wears makeup or uses makeup wipes, you will get irritation. All right, so other types of scarves that I have, let's just take a quick peek here. We already talked about this scarf. Around me, there's still holes. I can blow air right through it, even it's 3 layers. So these are beautiful, but they are not good for this use. This is just a simple scarf, and all I did was fold it in half and then over itself a couple times. I like this option. Let's see the windproof. Pretty good. It's a nice tight weave, so this would be pretty decent. I really like this one, and I'll probably wear it because it covers what I need it to cover. With my glasses, I'll be all set. Covers what I need it to cover without it being so thick and so like encompassing around everything. So you can take a long scarf and fold it lengthwise to get the perfect size for you. Pair it with your glasses. You'll be nice and protected. So, all right, what's next? I have so many different kinds of scarves, guys. I know it looks like I'm a scarf hoarder, but I have a lot of upper back and neck issues, especially with my muscles. And when they get cold, all hell breaks loose in my whole body. So we try not to do that. This is one of those infinity scarves. Now, there are a couple things you could do with this guy. Let's see here. Remember, men, if you're not sure what an infinity scarf is, it's just one big loop. So what can we do with this? Well, a couple different things. First of all, let's check the proofedness. We'll see. Not bad for just one layer, actually. Okay, it's easy to breathe through. Mama likes this too. So what I'll do, I'm going to fold this guy back on itself in the loop. It might take me a second to do this. Talk amongst yourselves. Don't leave, but talk amongst yourselves. Okay, let's just pretend this is perfectly folded lengthwise, okay? So I have each end of the loop. What I'm going to do is just this. Now, it's a little short in the back there. You can try to tie it in a knot, but my hair will get stuck in that so quick. That's where one of these babies comes in. I always have ponytail holders around my wrist. They come in handy as a rubber band to get my mop out of my face, make a face mask out of a scarf. You just never know. So, real simple, ladies or men. Hey, if you want to wear this, that's cool too. So we folded it lengthwise back on itself. There you go. Easy peasy. Got my glasses. My glasses are fogging up, but that's okay. Real simple to do with an infinity scarf and a ponytail holder. Oh, until it gets stuck in the hair. That's another option that you can do. Another way to use your infinity scarf. Remember, you could tie it in the back. It was just a little short for me, and I'm trying to show you guys different methods. So that's why I did it with a ponytail holder. This way, I guess it's kind of okay. I prefer the way I just did it because it's a lot easier. This is going to be a little bit more labor intensive, and when you're trying to get it off after you've been outside with it, trying to make sure that you don't infect other people, it's a little bit more difficult. But we still have our infinity scarf. It's still folded lengthwise. Now, we could put it on, tie it in the back, and then wrap the other part around the front. And I'm going to show you that and explain why that might be good. Okay, here we go. Well, it's not quite folded over right again, but let's just pretend it's the way it's supposed to be. All right, so that's not supposed to go there. Okay. All right, did it work? Kind of. All right, so you could do it like this. Maybe your neck is cold, right? So this infinity scarf can kind of wrap around too and give you a little bit more protection. I have a longer infinity scarf. This would be better to show you with, but... So there are a couple different ways you can use your infinity scarf for this. This one is not a stretchy one, okay? The one I have next is a stretchy one. There are a few more ways that we can use this. This thing is humongous. let me get that notification off. I have used this infinity scarf as a blanket on a plane. This thing is ginormous, still being unfolded. It's huge. It's almost my whole wingspan, but this is an excellent thing to have. So right now we're going to fold the short ends together, grab them here, do it one more time after that. I can do it this many times because this is how big my infinity scarf is, this one. The first way you can use this is just like we did the other infinity scarf the first way. I'm going to put it around, ponytail holder, and then secure it in place. Okay? That's one way you can use it. Glasses, good to go. The other ways, I really hate them. I'm so like, again, this is something you guys really got to think about. I've barely had it on, and I feel like you won't get as much oxygen as you're used to. And the biggest problem with you not getting enough oxygen, as much oxygen as you're used to on a daily basis, is because as an instinct, you might not even think or realize you're doing it. When you have a mask on, you're not getting the amount of oxygen you're used to. Instinctually, you will do this and try to get whatever is on your face off of it. So this is another thing to think about when wearing a mask, okay? Practice at home with it. I should have said that an hour ago. Practice at home with it so you know what it feels like and you can get used to it. So this infinity scarf, we can use it the other way as well when it's folded lengthwise on itself. Just do that in the back like we talked about. This one is a little bit more interesting in terms of this use because it's elastic. Now, there are things called gaiters if you're a biker, like I talked about in the beginning. And what I'm about to do with that infinity scarf is the same idea. But a gaiter wraps around like this. This one has like a little bit of mesh where the nose is, so it's a little easier to breathe. I don't know how it is in terms of keeping any droplets out, because if you can see that, when I stretch the fabric, there are holes I can see, so it's not a very tight weave. But with this guy, this is going to mess my hair up all to hell. But you guys are worth it. So, internet infamy with messed up hair, but you guys are worth it. So again, this is an elastic one. I'm going to see if I can do this off my head and then slide it on so I don't look like a complete moron, but with my head size of head, I folded it 3 times, and then I put it on. Looks a little ridiculous, and it's really hard to understand me, but there's no way COVID-19 or anything else is going to get in. Hey, I'm giving you options, man. I'm giving you options. That's all. This one is harder to pull off when you're done. So remember, you got to keep that in mind too, because when you pull off your face mask, you're trying not to get these germs all over everything. I think those were all the scarves basically I had. I mean, I had some options of don't use these kind. I would not recommend like a silky scarf like this one. Air goes right through it, really. I wouldn't recommend that. Plus, these are not great to wash. They don't hold up in the washer all that well. And while you could hand wash, you know, it's still going to be exposed to that isopropyl alcohol dilution like we talked about. So it's not the best thing for this type of fabric. This is actually a hair kind of a scarf specifically. This would be perfect, ladies, if you have one of these. I just folded it lengthwise, goes around, can either knot it, or you can use the ponytail holder and you're good to go. These are a great, great option. If you don't have any of these, guys, what you can do is take a shirt, a long t-shirt, cut a strip of it, and use that. You don't have to be fancy with a scarf. Things like that will do. Another thing that was actually sold as a hair band. Excuse my pig nose while I do that. This is good too. This works too. You don't even really need something folded over that much unless there's not a very tight weave in the fabric. But this works too, guys. It's got elastic. It's not uncomfortable. That would work too. All right, those are examples of ones that are not so good. But I had kind of an interesting one that I ran across that kind of worst case scenario, like can't find anything else, don't have any scarves, don't have any fabric I can cut. Not too long ago, crop tops came back into fashion. They'd been out for a little while, but they're back. I have a crop top. What I'm going to do is fold it. It's going to be hard for you to see off camera, but I'm going to fold it, and then I'll show you how I folded it. So, got our arms here. Our arms are obviously going to be our straps. Fold the shoulders down, fold this in. Okay, so obviously this will be different based on the length of your shirt, but for the most part, I held it up, I folded the shoulders down, and then I kept folding it to make my little strip here. And then, there you go. You can even make a cloth face mask out of a shirt, if that's all you've got. Now, let me just double check my basket here, see if there's any other good face mask material. Like I said, these would all make great face masks. I just wanted to show you some examples. If you have one of these, let's talk about this dude for a minute. I always get this wrong. It's either called balaclava. It's not baklava. That's the dessert. That's the dessert. I think it's balaclava now that I think about it and I look like an idiot. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with one of these, this is basically a hat and a neck piece together. There are many, many different ways you can wear this, but for our purposes, it actually would work really well, and I'm going to show you here. Give me a second. I'm going to be stuck in this thing for like 5 seconds while I try to find where to poke my head out. All right. I adjust the front so I look cute, but one nice thing about this guy is that it's got an adjustable kind of a situation here. So it might take me a second or two to get both of them adjusted the way that will make it work for this purpose, but I'll get it. You guys just hold steady there. All right. There you go. Throw on the shades. No coronavirus is getting in here, boy. I'll tell you that. Not in the eyes, not in the nose, not in the mouth. Go bother somebody else, coronavirus. The insult doesn't mean as much when you screw up how you say it, but you get what I mean. So yeah, many different options, guys. Many different options. This one is hot as heck, but it works pretty good. Okay, sorry. All right, guys, I really did want to go over the face mask issue. What is going on? It's like a dog hair in there or something. I really wanted to go over the face mask issue with you guys because I know it's something that you're all concerned about. I know it's something that you're trying to figure out. Is it right for you and your family? Is it better with, better without? I hope you found this video very helpful. Please share it with people that you love. Please share it with your network. Please share it with everybody. Like I said before, it seems like wearing a face mask would be a simple yes or no, but it's really not. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot that you need to make sure that you're doing so you're not inadvertently infecting yourself or somebody else. So again, I hope you found it useful. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying home. It's going to be a rough 2 weeks, like they said in the press briefing the other day. But there will be an end to it. There's going to be a lot of sadness. There's going to be a lot of unimaginable things that we have never seen in this country before. So if anybody needs to talk or vent or chat or needs to hear a joke or whatever, let me know. You know, I deliver the facts and the information and sourced and verified and all of that stuff, but I'm a human being too, and I know that this is difficult. So I'm here, guys. Reach out through the Pain Warrior USA page, which you can also find if you search Pain Warrior Princess. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, both of those, Pain Warrior Princess, and of course my Facebook, my personal Facebook, which is where you probably found me. So again, guys, I hope you found it useful. I am going to get going now, and I have to put everything back in my closet and leave out the ones that I'm going to keep handy for me and my family to use as cloth face masks. But I will see you guys for the next live. There's probably going to be at least 2 this weekend if I feel well enough to do it, because there's so much that came out in the past few days, and all of this news just kind of every single day there's like more and more and more, and it changes and updates, and yeah, so lots more news coming up. Stay safe, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Good night, YouTube. Thanks for checking it out.